Welcome back to the final episode of Baseball's Darkest Moments, the podcast where we dig into the scandals and controversies that have changed America's pastime. I'm your host, Michael Petruzzo, and today we're diving into one of the stickiest scandals in recent memory, the Spider Tack controversy. In 2021, pitchers across Major League Baseball were accused of using an ultra-sticky substance called Spider Tack to boost their spin rates and dominate hitters. But the story isn't just about cheating. It's about how far baseball will let things go before stepping in. Spider Tack was never meant for baseball. It was created for strongman competitions, helping athletes grip giant stones. When pitchers discovered that a tiny dab could dramatically increase their spin rates, they saw a way to make breaking balls break harder and fastballs appear to rise. A Yahoo Sports article by Hannah Kaiser from June of 2021 put it this way: baseball sticky stuff controversy could be the best thing that could happen to Spider Tack.
Let's just talk briefly about why this stuff matters and why we're here, all right? So for years, pitchers in the big leagues have used some sort of foreign substance on the ball to try and get a better grip. Baseballs, when they come out of the box, are very shiny and very slick and hard to get a handle on, so pitchers would use a combination
Pitchers have always looked for an edge: pine tar, rosin, even sunscreen, but Spider Tack changed everything. By the late 2010s, data showed that spin rates are skyrocketing across the league, while offense hit historic lows. According to Sports Illustrated's Tom Verducci from June 9, 2021, one recently retired player told SI he believes that between 80 and 90% of pitchers are applying some sort of foreign substance. Hitters are frustrated, coaches were suspicious, and analytics make the problem impossible to ignore. For years, MLB turned a blind eye to sticky substances, even as pitchers openly joked about their mixes. So what changed in 2021? Two big things: data and optics. First, the data told the story. With StatCast and spin rate tracking, MLB saw a sharp shift. Pitchers were dominating hitters in a way that seemed abnormal. A Yahoo Sports article from June 2021 noted, the ball wasn't juiced, the pitchers were. Second, optics mattered. After the scandals of prior years, like science steering and PEDs, check out those episodes if you haven't seen them already, MLB could no longer afford to appear passive. A Sports Illustrated article observed from June of 2021, MLB saw the data. It saw the widening gap between pitchers and hitters. It saw the public frustration, and it finally decided to act. Also, with the high-profile no-hitters piling up, more on that later, and hitters visibly struggling, person mounted on the league's office to step in. No official list of players using Spider Tack has been released, but many pitchers were scrutinized, especially those whose spin rates dropped significantly once enforcement began. A Bleacher Report article from June of 2021 estimated that there's little question that the practice has become widespread. One coach even estimated that 99.9% of pitchers use something on the ball. Here is a clip of Yankees ace Garrett Cole answering a question about his Spider Tack usage.
And have you ever used Spider Tack while pitching?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest. I mean, there are customs and practices that have been passed down from older players to younger players, from the last generation of players to this generation of players. And, I think there are some things that are certainly out of bounds in that regard. And I've stood pretty firm in terms of that, in terms of the communication between our peers and whatnot. And I, again, like I mentioned earlier, this is important to a lot of people that love the game, and this is including the players in this room, including fans, including teams. And so, if MLB wants to legislate some more stuff, that's a conversation that we can have, because ultimately we should all be pulling in the same direction on this.
In response to this, MLB announced in June of 2021 the only legal substance to grip is rosin. Starting pitchers should be subject to routine in-game inspections by umpires, and once relief pitchers came into the game, they would be subject to these routine checks as well. And if a pitcher got caught using sticky stuff, the violation resulted in an automatic ejection and a 10-game suspension, and the teams would not be able to replace the suspended pitcher on the roster, so they would be playing a man short for the 10 games. Here is one of the biggest debates. Is the enforcement system fair? On one hand, objective metrics. Spin rate data and video reveal elevated performance that seems unnatural. On the other hand, subjective enforcement. Umpires decide when to check, and the process can feel arbitrary. Former Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw argued, if a manager calls for a check and the pitcher is clean, that manager should face punishment. Some pitchers and analysts compared the mid-game checks to CSA pat-downs. Public, embarrassing, and inconsistent. Many inside the sport believe MLB waited too long to act, or at least wait until the optics forced its hand. From Sports Illustrated in June 2021. Yes, MLB mishandled it. So did just about everyone else, because the league and the teams tolerated the practice, even encouraged it. And from Yahoo Sports, also from June of 2021. This is a problem that festered until it reached the point of crisis. Pitchers seeing the mid-season timing of the enforcement was unfair. forcing abrupt mechanical adjustments and raising injury concerns. One anonymous player told Bleacher Report from June of 2021, "Do it in the offseason. Give us a chance to adjust. But you just told me I can't use anything in the middle of the year." Another dramatic piece of context. The 2021 season set a modern era record for no-hitters. 9 official no-hitters were thrown in that season, shattering prior benchmarks. One Fox Sports article summarized from September 12, 2021, the record for no-hitters in a season used to be laid in 1884. That mark was surpassed when the Brewers no-hit the then Indians, now Guardians. Why is this relevant, you might ask? Many analysts believe that the sticky substance advantage helped pitchers dominate in a way that made hitting increasingly difficult, more difficult than it already is. The spin rate surge, paired with fewer hits and more strikeouts, created the perfect storm for no-hitters. Now, let's look at the 2021-2022 offseason and how the labor and financial backdrop ties into the Spider Tie controversy and the state of baseball at the time. Let's start with the lockout and the new collective bargaining agreement, or CBA. The 2017-21 collective bargaining agreement expired after the 2021 season, triggering a lockout by the owners on December 2, 2021. The lockout lasted 99 days, ending on March 10, 2022. When MLB and the Players Association ratified a new 5-year CBA set to expire after the 2026 season. Now let's go into the financial implications. The new CBA raised the minimum salary dramatically, from roughly $570,500 in 2021 to $700,000 in 2022. Also, owners have proposed an economic model that included a salary floor and a soft cap, reportedly a $100 million floor with a $180 million soft cap, which the players' union rejected. Now let's go into the connection to the Spider Tax story. The labor environment underscored baseball's economic pressures. When pitchers dominate, hitters excessively, sticky substances or otherwise, it has ripple effects. Lower offensive production can hurt fan engagement, ticket sales, television ratings, and the revenue streams. MLB's crackdown in mid-2021 aligned with both preserving competitive balance and protecting the business model. Once MLB started checking, spin rates dropped and offense rebounded. According to Sports Illustrated from June of 2021, four-seam fastball stepped from 2,561 revolutions per minute or RPMs to 2,436 RPMs in one case. Pitchers had to re-earn grips, hitters finally got a chance again, and fans began asking if everyone was losing it, was it really cheating or just part of an arms race? And now let's go into a financial and legacy takeaway. MLB's revenue potential ties to offensive excitement in hitting friendly games. Prolonged pitching dominance can dampen interest. The Spider Tag crackdown became much more about preserving the sport's product as it was about fairness. And finally, the 2021 no-hitter surge, the labor tensions, the new CBA, all converged in a moment of inflection for the game. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit in early 2020, it disrupted baseball's routine in unprecedented ways. Spring training was shortened, the season delayed, and protocols shifted dramatically. But the pandemic also indirectly influenced the timing and nature of the sticky substance crackdown. First, disrupted spring training and shortened season. Because of COVID-19, pitchers had less time in spring training to refine mechanics and adapt to any changes as well as build up for the season. Some used downtime to experiment with grips and substitutions behind the scenes. When the 2020 season finally opened under protocols and bubbles, fewer inspections were carried out, and enforcement took a step back as the league focused on health and safety. Second, data disruption and the surge in spin rate and strikeouts. With the pandemic season and changes to routines, spin rate analytics and pitcher usage underwent variation. But by 2021, the league had amassed enough data to show a sharp rise in spin rate and decrease in offense. That spike put MLB on notice that the combination of altered routines, including the COVID-era training changes, and sticky substances might be creating a dead ball era scenario. Third, the optics of the pandemic era fan engagement and the business driver, with attendance limited and no fans in the stands at all, TV-only games, and fan engagement under pressure during the pandemic. MLB was especially sensitive to anything that might erode its brand of faners' appeal. Pitchers doing unhittable stuff, with data suggesting a sticky advantage, with losing fans' frustration just when the sport needed goodwill. Fourth, health and safety concerns magnified. COVID-19 protocols amplified concerns around pitcher health and substance use. With altered training, increased workloads, and less reliable access to typical routines, MLB and players worried about the sudden change to grips once sticky substances were banned in 2021 might lead to more injuries. One player commented that the crackdown began that, "Suddenly I can't grip the ball the way I used to," raising concerns about mechanics and health. And fifth, timing of the enforcement. MLB announced a new policy on June 15, 2021 and began inspections on June 21st. The delay was partially due to the focus on COVID return, testing protocols, and logistical complications in 2020. Once the full season resumed in 2021 under more normal conditions, the league had both the data and the structure to enforce. The pandemic, in effect, delayed but likely accelerated urgency. MLB had to act when the competitive and business signals grew too obvious. In summary, while COVID-19 did not directly cause the Spider Tag crackdown, the pandemic created conditions, disrupted routines, data accumulation during abnormal seasons, player training shifts, business pressure on MLB, that made enforcement inevitable in 2021. The league, after focusing on pandemic recovery, turned to sticky substances as a key competitive and health issue in the post-COVID era for baseball. The Spider Tag controversy might be recent, but its roots go back more than a century. Baseball has always been a game of skill, and a game of secrets, as we've seen. As MLB continues to evolve, with analytics, high-speed cameras, changing rules, one thing remains certain. Whenever there are rules, there will be players trying to bend them. That's it for the final episode of Baseball's Darkest Moments. What do you think? Was Spider Tack just a modern spitball or something more sinister? I'm your host, Michael Petruzzo, and thank you for joining me throughout the series. Until next time, stay fair and keep the game honest.